Yeah, because you've been on that side of the fence, what makes a good application? The first planner I engaged, he was like, "Oh, let's just throw it in so we can get the clock ticking without with missing 3 or 4 other reports." I later found out, and councils never recommend or try and discourage you not using consultants. But I actually had someone in council say, "Why are you using that guy? Like, find somebody else." I didn't know. I was wet behind the ears, and I thought he was decent. But so what makes a good application? And when knowing, you've sat on the other side of the fence, what is a good application, and what should you be, wanting your planner, to be doing to make that application, give yourself the best chance? Because I'm sure if it lands on their lap and it's not correct, or there's issues or errors, it's just gonna, they're just gonna give you a rubbish, response, and it's just gonna kick the can down the road probably a lot longer than it needs to be.
Yeah. Look, certainly the bare minimum approach is something I try and avoid at all costs. But if you take it from the earliest possible time, when preparing a development application or working up a concept for development generally, if you approach that task through a lens of trying to achieve a good outcome, that's a really good starting point. So what are we actually trying to achieve here? Are we trying to achieve, say, a housing development? How can we do that, ensuring that we ultimately are going to deliver a product that is desirable, has good outcomes, and limits any negative impacts? Now, depending on the complexity of the project, sometimes there's great value in engaging with the local authorities, council, state government, in pre-lodgement discussions. So before you even get to finalising that development application and lodging it with the relevant authority, having what's called pre-lodgement discussions can be really valuable to identifying any significant issues that you might face with getting the approval that you want to get once you've lodged it. So Shannon, Carson and I have sat in a room with council officers many times and state government officers many times, where we present an initial concept and talk through the significant issues. We then take that information away, the feedback that we get from those authorities, and we look for ways in which we can address those concerns. Because that time and money spent up front can often be paid back in dividends later on when you get an approval through the system a lot quicker than if you hadn't have spent that time up front. So I guess the first point I'm trying to make here is that pre-lodgement discussions and responding to the feedback before you lodge can be the hallmark of a good application. Then when you lodge that application, there's some really critical aspects that you need to get right. There's effectively 3 things. There's making sure that you have the owner's consent when it's required. If you mess that up, that can be critical. The second thing is making sure you have the right forms and the mandatory information to submit with that application. And the third thing is payment of fees. So they're kind of the 3 things that you need to tick the box for before you get through that first gate of being a properly made application. But that is the bare minimum.